Allegedly broadcasting to you live. Blake, continue. You said hello.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to do the intro or not because Brian is having major technical difficulties. I thought it would be me with the thunderstorm moving through Tennessee right now, but apparently Brian's having more technical issues than I am. Maybe it's the solar flares. I don't know, or maybe he's got bad weather up there as well. But Brian, extra pixelated today, slow motion, and yeah, he's had to reboot his computer a couple of times. One thing after another. So, oh well, it's a rough start, but we're here, and the show must go on, even if it's going to be thrown down the memory hole because it's going to be unwatchable. It'll be like on like 144 pixels.
Yeah, but I mean,
I might as well just do a podcast.
How many people put a show on and then they work, they get on their computer, they work out, they go for a walk. Like, you don't have to watch, and you know what? So what? Like, it's gonna be whatever it is. I put all this extra time and money and energy into hanging this green screen, and it's not lit properly. Clearly, it's not working. I got a new LED. Oh, here, let me turn this on. That might make a huge difference.
Yep.
I don't know.
Major upgrades. I know it sucks.
It's all right.
Tech guys are laughing at you.
This is
you're like
you. I know.
Go ahead.
Just try not to watch me. Just listen. Close your eyes. Let me take you on a tale. Let me take you on a wonderful magical mystery tour, if you will. Imagine if you will.
Yes.
What was that? That was what was Imagine if you will? Was that the Twilight Zone?
I think so. Maybe Rod Serling. Yeah.
Imagine
Legendary.
If you will.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway. Let's talk about today's show and the topics on today's show. We're going to talk about the FBI. They knew that the Hunter laptop was real, right? Did they hide it under big tech censorship? The Biden-appointed attorneys, are they blocking charges against Hunter? I mean, is everything completely corrupt? Are the Democrats going to try to use the 14th Amendment in their end game to defeat Trump? Is the real reason that the left hates Jason Aldean's song racism? Should YouTube pull the reviews of Sound of Freedom for violating guidelines? I mean, if being against children being abused is a guideline, then screw you. What about Democrats? Are they trying to censor RFK Jr. because they fear his speech? All these topics and more coming up on today's show. You're just going to see me in a couple of snapshots in between weird angles. So I guess I better try to look dead on, straight ahead. So when it does freeze, it's not. You couldn't see that move, but I looked up at the sky and made a grunt. Anyway, Blake, let's jump into today's news because we've burned through 28 minutes of our program.
Right.
Dealing with tech
issues.
Had
limited time. Yep.
Yeah. So walk us through this, Blake. Agree or disagree? Did the FBI know that Hunter's laptop was real, and did they hide under big tech censorship to pretend that they had nothing to do with it?
I am going to agree. We know that they've had the laptop since at least 2019, so they were holding on to it. And then, they actually admitted it at one point that they did have it in their possession. But then all of a sudden, 2020 came around. We got a little closer to the election, and then, surprise, it's the October surprise, dropping the laptop bombshell. But then all of a sudden, they pulled back. They didn't want to have anything to do with it. So then they just went along with the left's narrative that it was all Russian disinformation. Right? I can't tell if you're talking or is it just on such a delay. I'm still watching you speak.
Can you hear me right now?
Now I can hear you. Okay.
Okay. Just like I said, avoid whatever you're watching. Don't look. Hold on. Don't look at me. I'm hideous. Don't look at me. Here, we'll do this. This is the show's view from today. I'll just sit here on the side. Don't worry. I'm here for that. Right. I'm not here for the eye candy. I'm here for the brain candy. All right.
Sounds good. Oh, that's one of my favorite movies by the Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall. I am pinching your head. I am pinching your head.
They also did, Brain Candy movie. That was their one movie. It's classic. Anyway, FBI told Twitter Hunter Biden laptop was real when the New York Post story broke, but then hid behind big tech censors their disinfo smear. So they kind of got caught in that. The FBI, which had known the laptop was authentic since 2019, admitted to Twitter that it was real on the day the New York Post published its reporting, but then switched its narrative to, no further comment, and refused to acknowledge the laptop's veracity to any other big tech companies ahead of the 2020 election, according to July 17th testimony from Laura Demlow, the section chief of the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force. So I guess it was in a letter to Christopher Wray, FBI director, Jim Jordan, the same FBI personnel who were warning social media companies about a potential Russian hack and leak operation knew that the laptop belonging to Hunter, they already had it, was not Russian disinformation. So Demlow also testified that previous FITF Section Chief Bradley Benavides and his subordinates were tasked with sniffing out Russian influence, knew that Hunter Biden's laptop was real. So it looks like we have an inside job here, Brian, and anybody watching. We kind of already knew this, but it's nice to have a little confirmation and for them to get their stories twisted up, because it's time all of this comes out, as the Bidens are just embroiled in scandals and controversy.
They are, and we've known it all along. So what do we do now? We disband the FBI? This is election interference. This was done to throw an election, to rig a United States election in 2020. This is the FBI was running cover for one candidate, trying to harm another candidate, putting their finger on the scales of justice. That's a mistrial. You throw that out. That's completely outside of the scope of what their mission statement is supposed to be. If we wanted another wing of the Democrat Party or the globalist party, what's the difference? Or the Chinese Communist Party influenced racial division party, because that's all the Democrats push. It's everything has to be divided through sexual preference and genitalia and skin melanin and political affiliate. Everything is a division tactic, and it's the Communist Marxist Manifesto to a T. And that's really who's running the Democrat globalist party. They're completely bought out and sold out. But if we wanted more Democrats, we'd vote for more Democrats. We do not need the alphabet agencies running cover for Pelosi and Biden, with Obama calling all the shots in the basement. This is not a part of federal government. This is an overthrow. This is a coup. This is the overthrow of the United States of America. So what happens now? Is the FBI going to be disbanded? It's a completely untrustworthy organization at this point.
They should definitely fire Ray and probably a lot of the upper management or whoever's involved in this. And then maybe I assume you could probably keep a lot of the people within, the good people, but clearly it is compromised at the top.
How do you know?
Maybe they can just start a new agency. That's going to be tough. You're going to have internally have an investigation, and anybody that was a part of this cannot be part of the new regime, whatever they install in it. They probably shouldn't even call it the FBI, because that name has been tainted.
So as far as these trials yesterday and FBI knowing, are you convinced this was proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, or they were just trying to obfuscate it and trying to pretend it wasn't them? Or it's like that Spider-Man meme where Spider-Man's pointing at Spider-Man, who's pointing at Spider-Man. So is it like the FBI is blaming big tech for the censorship, and then big tech is blaming the FBI for the censorship, and they're both going, "What me worry? I don't know." Like a Mad Max or a Mad Magazine thing. Like, what me worry? What me know? I don't know anything. It wasn't me. It was them. Is that what's going on? They're just pointing at each other, trying to pretend that it wasn't a complete collusion, a complete coup, a complete overthrow of the United States government by fortifying, i.e. rigging the last election?
Yeah, that seems to be what it is. And they also, put out that smear that it was Russian collusion in 2016. So they lied about that. And then they themselves colluded to take 2020. So how are we supposed to have any faith in the integrity of the election in 2024? How do we vote these people out if they performed a coup? Yeah.
For
I think you
4
summed that up
years, they've
perfect.
been lying about the duly elected president of the United States. It's not just a goofy Democrat. It's not just Pelosi. It's not just Anthony Weiner. It's not just Bill Clinton. It's not just Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of deviants here. It's not just them. It's the alphabet agencies too. It's media. It's academia. It's everybody working together to fortify this thing. So, I mean, what do we do with the last election if the intelligence agencies lied about everything and hid information, and then for 4 years dragged President Trump through a slanderous, just a monstrous experience after spying on his campaign in the beginning? The entire Trump presidency has done nothing to damage Trump. It's done everything to damage the long-standing institutions that we're supposed to look at, that are just kind of supposed to be umpires or referees, calling the balls and strikes, the 3-pointers from the 2-pointers. I mean, Blake, this is insanity here. What did you pull up? What's this one?
This is actually a tweet from Cernovich I wanted to point out. It says, once there was a man, I think he's referring to himself here, once there was a man on social media reporting on personnel in 2017, named names, including the future whistleblower. MAGA called him never Trump, traitor for not trusting the plan. And I think that was part of that whole trust the plan, was to, trust Jeff Sessions. And then it was to trust Christopher Wray, certainly, who is not worthy of that trust. And, as much as I want Trump to be back, part of this blame has to be on him. But the terrible people that he put in charge in these positions that totally stabbed him in the back and have worked against us. They're deep state traitors. So how did he get, Barr and Christopher Wray up there? And who else was around there? These awful swamp creatures. So this could have been preventable right in the very beginning.
So
interesting to know.
I've seen a lot of people blame Trump, saying he's not good at hiring. I've seen that critique and that criticism, and look, obviously from Pence to Wray to he did hire Wray, right? Ray's been around for how long?
Yeah, he's appointed a few years, yeah.
And he did fire Comey, but I mean, the reason you reelect Donald Trump, if even from a prison cell, if he's brought up on any of these goofy kangaroo court charges, you put him in because he's seen behind the curtain now. He came in with good ideas, good hopes, but he's been betrayed. And it's not him, it's the American people that have been betrayed, and he's seen it, and he knows the ones that need to be fired now. So it's like, I would give him a second chance in a heartbeat to fire all the dead weight. But I think he made a mistake by not going after more of these people more aggressively, because they used his whole term to just sabotage him. Everything was sabotage from the intelligence agencies and the lying legacy media and the awful anti-American Democrat Party.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
and now what do you do when the tyranny takes over? How do you vote it out? If the tyrants take charge, the kleptocracy, the deep state, completely embedded in DC, giving all our money to Ukraine.
Well, let's
every
follow
unconstitutional thing imaginable. Can we trust the voting system, or is there going to have to be something more drastic? I don't know. I hate to see anything bad happen, but
this is what's bad that's happening.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of what's bad happening. It's not like, oh, I'd hate to see something bad. No. We are a sinking ship. Like we're about ready to go. What was that, New Horizon, or what was that one that imploded? Going down to look at what was that thing called?
Titanic. Yeah.
Submarine. You're looking at the
Gate, whatever. Yeah.
Ocean Gate. Yeah, Ocean Gate. And
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of bad things happening. Like we're done for if we don't figure this out. We're done. There is no later. The CBDCs are rolling out. The online censorship is here. It's all here. AI is here. It's here. May we live in interesting times. Holy shit, Blake. We are in the middle of them right now. This is like our humanity's last chance to try to salvage some sort of autonomous existence where we can maintain identities and borders and customs and traditions and values. These people that have invaded the White House and put up a fence around to keep the citizens away from throwing them out. I mean, it was a coup. It was an absolute coup attempt. The least popular human on the Democrat Party ticket somehow gets everyone to back him and run a campaign where he has 8 people showing up in like predetermined circles. Trump has 80,000 people showing up. I mean, it's not even remotely believable. We're in the middle of it now. And Trump is dominating in the polls. It completely in the Republican polls, but the Democrats, almost everything they've touched has fallen to garbage over the past 3 years. This should be a cakewalk if you can trust and if you can have paper ballots and no more mail-in voting, anything that has the potential for any sort of shenanigans. This should be a blowout. But then again, the last one should have been a blowout too. So I don't know.
The red wave that never happened is barely at the last, and they had to like really fight for those last couple of seats, like Lauren Boebert in Colorado, and I know there was a couple other ones.
I mean, remember, there were like 7. There were 7 states. Trump demolished Biden. And then all of a sudden, they all stopped counting at once, something that's never been seen in the history of, anything specific that we can point to say this is the smoking gun or definitive proof. It's like, no, I'm just going to trust my eyes and my gut instinct. That's it. What more do you need? Completely in control, dominating the election. It's over. I went and poured a bourbon, doing a live show, and then all the states just started pausing. They all just started, I don't know, there's a water main break, and I don't know, we'll have to do this later, and let's get the media out of here, and you're seeing all the boxes, and it's not about any one particular piece that someone can, that's been debunked. Okay. No, just my lying eyes do not deceive me. I'm sorry. Like, it's not a thing. It's a complete sham what we've been living through for 2.5 years now. And if we're lucky, we're going to be able to course correct. But my God, have they taken us to the edge? We're dangling. Or we've already launched like in Thelma and Louise, and we're just going to pause in the middle of our launch over the Grand Canyon. And it's just like, here we are, just nowhere to go but down. Jocelyn says she agrees, Brian. It's called a coup. Everyone should have no doubt that we no longer live in a constitutional republic with lawfully elected president. Yeah, well, I used to be able to talk about such things on the New American Media and on my program, and then they just started demonetizing and removing my page because they think they know better. They think that their lies are more important than my truth. Well, fuck them. Fuck you. I got no time for you. Let it rip. You know what? If we have one last chance to speak before we're ultimately rounded up into a gulag and executed, I'm going to let it rip. And it's all we got, Blake, because I'm telling you, AI, central bank digital currency, online manipulation, control, it's all here, dude. It's all here. We've got to resist with everything we have right now.
All right, let's do it.
All right, next topic.
Yep.
I mean, this one is, of course, going to tie into the, well, no shit department. But do you agree or disagree that Biden-appointed attorneys are blocking charges against Hunter in an IRS probe? Agree or disagree?
Oh, shit. Now I can't hear you.
Now I can. Okay, now you're back. I didn't hear a single thing you said, but I said, do you agree or disagree?
I don't know whose connection is worse, Brian.
I don't know.
Jocelyn saying, I don't know if he had solar flares or cyber attacks or terrible weather. I got a thunderstorm and I'm trying to stream from a Starlink satellite.
Let me add that Doreen Burns in our YouTube channel, she's saying, keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. Then you expose them. And she agrees that these Biden-appointed attorneys are blocking charges against Hunter in the IRS probe. So why don't you pull up a story and tell us about the latest here? Because it's all hitting the fan. It's all completely obvious who is up to the shenanigans. And it's Hunter,
Definitely.
it's Biden, it's Obama, it's the deep state, it's the media. They're all lying.
Yeah, so we have a couple of like awesome whistleblowers have emerged out of here and have gone public, putting their jobs and their lives at. So that's reassuring. That's awesome. There is some people fighting back, even though they tried to, rig this investigation. So here's this headline: tells you everything you need to know. IRS whistleblower Shapley says 2 Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys blocked Hunter charges. So the House Oversight Committee, led by Representative James Comer, held a hearing with IRS whistleblowers yesterday. And it was Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler testified on the government prosecutor's preferential treatment of Hunter Biden. So, yes, that's where Gary Shapley said these U.S. attorneys that were appointed by Biden blocked charges against his son. And that Shapley's testimony lines up with what whistleblower X, identified as now Joseph Ziegler, said on Wednesday, saying David Weiss, U.S. attorney from Delaware, was hamstrung and marginalized by Department of Justice officials. And so he said that on record. I got a couple of quick clips. Here's one from Gary Shapley.
The Justice Department allowed the president's political appointees to weigh in on whether to charge the president's son. After United States Attorney for D.C., Matthew Graves, appointed by President Biden, refused to bring charges in March 2022, I watched United States Attorney Weiss tell a room full of senior FBI and IRS senior leaders on October 7, 2022, that he was not the deciding person on whether charges were filed. That was my red line.
So that's where he decided to do the right thing, not just comply and go along with the obvious corruption happening in front of him, and decided to push back. And so here's another very quick 12-second clip.
Absolute fact is that this case was presented to 2 presidentially appointed U.S. attorneys in D.C. and California. That no charges were brought in those districts tells you everything that you need to know.
Yeah, it certainly does. Isn't that interesting how bad this corruption is? Now we've got IRS whistleblowers that confirm that Joe Biden is the big guy. And here is a picture of Joe Ziegler. So let's check out a quick clip from here.
On the day of action, you guys were intending to interview 12 people, one of whom was Rob Walker, a business associate of Hunter Biden. And in particular, you wanted to talk about, I think the quote is, 10 held by H for the big guy,
yeah.
Right? So who did you infer that the big guy may be?
So all I can do is speak to the evidence there. What I can say is, I think I know what you're referring to is when we're preparing for that interview and we're referencing that email, 10 held by H for the big guy, and from what I understand that to be his dad, President Biden.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I just want to ask Mr. Shapley a similar question, because the AUSA Wolf interjected, and I'm reading from your transcript now, and said she did not want to ask about the big guy, and stated she did not want to ask questions about dad, in quotes. Who did you take dad to be when she refers to dad?
The father of the subject is President Biden.
President Biden. And so even by her response, she's inferring that Joe Biden may be involved in Hunter Biden's transaction.
I mean, this is just shocking corruption. Now, the Ziegler guy, he's actually a gay Democrat. So kudos to him, also doing the right thing and blowing the whistle on this horrible corruption. It's just destroying our democracy, destroying the republic. And you've got at the highest levels, protecting his corrupt son and all these business dealings that have compromised the executive branch of this country.
I mean, they have shaken down a lot of countries and a lot of companies. And it's like, on one level you go, well, show me a story that's new under the sun. All right. Well, I mean, stuff like this has been happening forever. And to some degree, you're like, well, maybe energy companies and maybe pharma and, this and that. But when the policy choices come into play and it looks heavily influenced by it, I mean, it appears as though this Ukrainian Burisma deal, putting Hunter on the board of directors for an energy company to rig, and then you have Biden laughing about firing the prosecutor that was trying to figure out to expose the corruption, and then you impeach President Trump because he called out your scam. I mean, Blake, where are the fucking arrests? There's nothing else to prove here. There hasn't been shit to prove for fucking years on this. What is everybody waiting for? Are you telling me there's not any entity in the United States that cares about this obvious corruption? And it's Ukrainian corruption that's led us into the fucking middle of a potential World War III with Russia. This isn't just, there's a shady business deal and maybe the Bidens got an extra lake house out of it. This isn't about a lake house. It's about nuclear war. God, right. I mean, are we the only people that give a shit? I'm just...
Right. Well, they've politicized the Department of Justice and the FBI, and so they control they have corruption at the top. So they protect the deep state. And so who's going to make the arrests? Department, you think it's not going to be Merrick Garland? It ain't going to be Christopher Wray. So who's going to do something? Maybe they got a Hail Mary from the Supreme Court. Maybe they made some Brunson case, a conspiracy theory. I don't know. But something's got to be done. Local sheriffs. I mean, who do we turn to? You can't turn to somebody in D.C. You're just going to write angry letters amongst each other. And, they might do a few of these open trials, these open hearings, get a few sound bites. But, yeah, there should be people going to jail. Absolutely. And, so they've already basically admitted there's $17 million in payments from China, Romania, and other countries, of course, with Burisma. And what are they getting in return? You just can't have the executive branch compromised like this. This is never supposed to happen in this country. But yes, now we've turned into a banana republic.
All right. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of England is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the states. They list the reasons. They are numerous. And then they say, we therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled, appealing to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these United Colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. This is the Declaration of Independence, Blake. And my God, can we just make a couple of revisions to this to update it for what's happening now? And can we please just restate this and hit reset? Because whatever the hell is happening now is not America. I don't know when we lost the plot. I don't know how we got off track. But my God, this is not a country anymore. This is a kleptocracy. It's a cabal of a criminal syndicate that's acting as a mafioso warlord regime, overthrowing the duly elected president and the duly elected representatives of this place to steal and plunder and rob our fortunes, to inflate our wages, inflate the currency so that we can't even pay for stuff anymore without really digging deep and finding the lint in our pockets, trying to rub a couple coins together to get a gallon of gasoline or a loaf of bread. I mean, we are beyond a salvageable nation under this regime. It's time for something different. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what the path is supposed to be, but my God, that's our country. That's our Declaration of Independence. And we need to say that again, because we are not being represented. They are pissing on our leg and they're just telling us it's raining over and over again, while their other hands reaching around either to give us a reach around or to steal our wallet out of the back pocket. So what say you, Blake?
No, well said, Brian. Yeah, I think we should just my internet, my
Yeah, I heard. Well said, Brian. I think we should. And that's all I had. Try it
of
again.
course. Yeah, I think it's time to just cut DC off from the rest of the country. That's just a little federalized district there. Without them, yeah, then the states could just, fend for themselves, stick together. But yeah, they need to get rid of these federal terrorists that have destroyed our country from within. And
Sticking together is what good pancakes do.
Yeah,
that's a Simpsons joke. Okay, let's Kenneth asking if the military is listening. I mean, is the military listening? Trust the plan. I can't. Nobody's gonna do it but us. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what the hell. But we can't just sit around waiting and hoping. That's just not an option. Kenneth saying FBI says means from Biden's instructions. The FBI is from Biden's instructions. All right. Well, let's keep it frosty and keep it flowing here. We got a couple of other topics to jump into. Next topic. Blake, Democrats will use the 15th Amendment in their end game to defeat Trump. What say you?
It's like the host from Rap Battle.
I don't remember Rap Battle, but I played it for you. It was the McLaughlin group. That was Dana Carvey.
Right. Yeah, no, that was good.
Mort Kondraki. Well, I think that the next topic. Anyway, go ahead. So the 14th Amendment. What is the 14th Amendment, and what are the Democrats trying to do here?
Well, as we were saying, that was the title of the show from a couple days ago. Is what the Democrats are going to do is basically arrest all MAGA and arrest, and that will land Trump path to victory in 2024. But they said, yeah, it's probably just the 14th Amendment that they're going to use. But if they can arrest as many people as that's totally fine with them. So with the potential third indictment now of former President Donald Trump, focused on the possibility that he sparked an insurrection to challenge Biden's election.
That is so stupid, Blake. Anyone that uses
Right.
that I word is so disingenuous. The president was talking peacefully, patriotically protest. And you're telling me the conservatives who own 90% of the weapons showed up that day and didn't use a single one. Oh yeah, the president was calling for he didn't call for anything. I cannot humor anybody that uses that stupid I word anymore, but I'm sorry, please continue. You didn't write it, but somebody wrote it. So I'm sorry, please continue. I just
The reason that
anymore.
the reason they want to push that, of course, they didn't want to show any of the footage from January 6th because they want to, pretend that it was a violent insurrection when it wasn't. If everybody was armed that day, we wouldn't have this show right now. Everything would have been like, oh, okay, well, I guess all the bad people left. Would have been the Pied Piper and getting rid of all of the rats in D.C. peacefully. And then, starting our own thing again, having a reinvigoration of what made this country great. But it didn't happen because it was a peaceful protest with a few agitators that caused problems and tons of internal feds that may have also been up to shenanigans out there. So, but if that leads to one conviction for Trump, they want to do is they pull the insurrection clause in the 14th Amendment that was written to ban Confederates from serving in office. So that could trigger a ban on Trump taking any office again, even if he is chosen as the next president on Election Day 2024. So imagine if we win somehow.
When we win.
Yeah, when we win and there's no like after hours, oh, we found truckloads of ballots and they look like there's
nope. There
There's
needs
no
to be a
signatures.
time limit on votes you're going to accept. I am over this shit.
Yeah, but Democrats are going to go along with that.
I'm not going to. Once the game was over, we found a couple of things going on, and there were more points out there. Yeah, you didn't get to see them, but yeah, that totally happened. I'm not humoring this anymore. I will never do it again. I didn't do it the first time. I've never bought this crap.
Right. But, we haven't, but that's what they want to try to push. If they can get everybody to believe that and they can control all the video, then they would just use this insurrection clause in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. So if you've been under oath to protect the Constitution, but engage in an insurrection, then you can no longer serve in federal office. So that's
you mean when the Democratic Party staged a coup, that insurrection,
right.
Or you mean the one where President Trump said peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard? When Pence betrayed Trump and pretended he didn't have the authority to kick some of this back to the states to reconsider and we're not ready to. I can't rubber stamp this. There's too many questions. I don't know. Trump was heavily in the lead, 5 to 10 points in all these states, and you just paused them all because you were losing, and then you just flipped them magically overnight. That's not acceptable. We can't accept this. Pence had every opportunity, every right to do that. By the way, did we cover Pence in our last show? Yeah. Okay, I mean, I guess he's such a nobody, it doesn't matter. But totally betrayed, totally Judased out there, or totally outmaneuvered or outflanked by Pelosi.
Right. It was a bad choice from the beginning. So that was a big mistake. They should have had Rand Paul. So that's another mistake that Trump made, getting the wrong people. You can't cozy up with these deep state goons. They will infiltrate and undermine and destroy you. And that's what they did. And then they just kept the offense pushing on them. And then they took the election. But anyway, so that's
if Biden and the Democrats are the ones that staged the insurrection to overthrow the United States, they are not allowed to run for president in 2024. The Democrat Party should not be allowed to put a candidate up ever again.
They shouldn't be. Yeah, let's just reinvent the Democratic Party with RFK and Dennis Kucinich and put in some liberals with sanity. And that would be amazing.
Sanity.
Well, there was some. Well, those are a couple.
Ooh, that's almost like jumbo shrimp there, sir, but I digress.
And they were both in D.C. today. So let's hurry up. I only got about 10 minutes. So I think we obviously have to shift towards what they tried to do with RFK today.
All right. You love your RFK, so tell us about this. Do you agree or disagree? Democrats are trying to censor RFK because they fear his speech.
Right. Well, this was happening today. Democrats try to censor and remove RFK Jr. at a hearing on censorship, which was pretty crazy. House Democrats on Thursday tried unsuccessfully to remove him, claiming he was in violation of the House rules aimed at preventing defamatory or degrading testimony. Brian, they hate this guy as much as they hate Trump. The Democrats are freaking out. So, yes, I do like Robert F. Kennedy. I like a lot of what he's saying. And I love the fact that he's driving them crazy and they're trying to do everything they can to smear him and censor him and prevent him from speaking or perform in any debates or be seen on TV or any number of things. So he's been fantastic. He's been to the Democrats what Trump was to the Republicans in 2016.
And look, I totally understand, and I can empathize with the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I totally get that. Anybody that's pissing off the known liars and traitors that should face treasonous charges, and Lord willing, we will one day. We're gonna wake up one day, and the world's gonna change for the better. That's my hope. You know, I can't,
dude.
I'm not going to get addicted to hopium, but I can't be black-pilled either. But yes, I agree with you. Anybody who's rankling their feathers, I'm a big fan of. So I'll appreciate that for JFK for sure.
Dude, the deep state assassinated his father and his uncle, our president, and
they would do
America
the same
on
to
this
Trump.
Trajectory. Right.
They would take out journalists like you and I or Michael Hastings. There's no amount of evil and lack of moral compass that these usurpers have engaged in and will continue to engage in until we cast them in shackles and bury them into some subterranean prison. There's no negotiating here. The country has been overthrown. It cannot be more obvious. They killed JFK in front of everybody right there. Yeah, just blew him away. Because what? You could, because what? Because Vietnam? Because you needed you needed to ruin that generation. Listen to Rooster from Alice in Chains. Anything from that generation. Talk to people that served. You fucking ruined these people. These monsters that are addicted to war and blowing people up. They have to be dealt with, Blake. These are not Americans. These are not people representing the values of this country. These are monsters.
Yep. Here's a great example of a monster right here. Debbie Wasserman Schultz out of Florida, who went out and smeared RFK. We won't have time to run all the clips, but she tried to make some fireworks there up on Capitol Hill today by trying to go after Holocaust stuff, everything that he said badly about vaccines, and she tried to shut him down, but he was voted to be allowed to speak because it was about censorship.
Yeah, and people are allowed to have wrong opinions. People are allowed to have unpopular opinions. That's it.
Right.
There's no debate. Oh, well, you're not a perfect person according to my moral code. You should therefore not be allowed to participate in society. How about fuck off? Even if you have abhorrent opinions, positions, you're just out there spewing lies. Okay. Well, then in the comments section, we tear you apart and we laugh at you. We openly mock you. You don't get to shut somebody up. I'm sorry. That's what tyrants do. And we're done with tyrants. Those days have passed, Blake. I'm trying to be anti-black pill here because I'm feeling it today. I'm trying to talk myself into being positive. I'm not really feeling it, but I'm trying.
Yeah, it's a dark era for America. It really is. So, but yes, he was under the gun, and then he got to respond and went on a 5-minute rant, eviscerating Democrats for trying to smear his name. The rant came as House Democrats tried censoring Kennedy on a hearing about government censorship. But yes, they should be allowed to hear it, and they should be allowed to pick it apart. But they were very disingenuous with that, just trying to make stupid comparisons or saying he's anti-Semitic or what have you. But if they had their way, they wouldn't let him talk at all. They would bury all his information. And part of the reason he was there is because they shut him down on meta platforms. So you're allowed to speak, even if it's, against the anti-vaccine industry. But we know there's a little bit more to that.
Yeah, Meta shut the New American Media down as well. You know what? Rosie O'Donnell hated me when I met her. I take certain things as badges of honor. So be it. So be it. We know who Meta protects and who they don't. They are who they are. All right. Anything else on RFK
Nope,
being
we got about
censored
5
during a
minutes.
censorship?
That's lightning round, and if you want to carry the rest, you're good. I gotta go.
All right, let's talk about the number one song in the country. Is the agree or disagree, Blake? Is the real reason the left hates Jason Aldean's song because of racism?
I'm gonna disagree there.
Oh,
Let's see.
now is this the racism of Aldean or the racism of the left? Because the left are the most racist people I know.
Well, they were
I
trying
mean,
to make
in general, there's a lot of great left-leaning people that they mean well, but I mean, being indoctrinated by academia and the media the way they have been, their brains have been warped. I'll grant them a little bit of grace, but in general, the left is addicted to racism, and I can't stand it.
Yeah, and they definitely went out, got some ugly racist comments with Jason Aldean. They're trying to smear him for this controversial video that was removed from country music television. So this is a article out of the Federalist. The real reason the left hates Jason Aldean's song has nothing to do with racism. So the song's about citizens physically resisting the left's organized violence and dysfunction. And it's amazing to me, they'll sit there and smear Republicans for this supposed insurrection January 6th, but they say nothing about all of the violence that happened all across the country with the various riots from the George Floyd death and amongst other things. So, and they showed, what'd you think about that video? I thought it was a little bit, I can see where it's, a little insightful and makes maybe CMT a little uncomfortable, but I thought it was also pretty good. I'm not really a country fan, but I think it brings up some interesting points, although they tried to say it was wildly racist and pro-lynching, even though that didn't make any sense. It was just, the rest of us that aren't brainwashed by leftist media see what's happening in these towns with all the, the arson and the carjackings and these masked terrorists called Antifa that cause problems everywhere. And it's just people in other towns to watch that. It's horrifying to think that would actually be allowed to happen. But you're seeing a lot of these, Soros prosecutors and these crazy radical leftist mayors and governors that allow these things to happen. And so it's interesting.
These district attorneys who are refusing to punish the worst people in each community. Once again, these are not Americans. These are anti-American people. It's what the Democrats stand for, just in order to gain a little temporary power and control, because it's temporary. You want to destroy what do you want? Where's your crown, King Nothing? All right, You want to sink the ship and call yourself the captain? Hooray! You glug glug glug. So okay, let me admit, I didn't watch the video. I listened to the song. I guess the video with some of the imagery. So CMT said they went full Bud Light, right? Like that's what they're doing here. Never go full Bud Light. And so they were saying that the imagery, not the lyrics of the song, or the combination of the lyrics and the imagery. They didn't like that all of the anti-American destruction was being showcased. They didn't like seeing that because it made them look bad for supporting it. CMT went lefty. Like, what am I missing here?
Well, I can see like it's insightful in that way. It's going to piss off a lot of Democrats, and it just shows all of the like these Antifa goons and how disrespectful they are towards law enforcement and how they burn American flags, seem to hate this country. They terrorize communities, looting, arson, and it's disgusting. And he's kind of basically saying, yeah, you try that in a, fuck around and find out in a small town. So I guess they wanted to distance themselves. So now it's going even more viral. Now it's guess what, #1 country song. So
yeah, that's the best thing that can happen to you is to get canceled, it seems, because the people doing the canceling are ludicrous. Anyone that's in favor of watching your cities burn because anyway, you know why. Okay. Well, then
Well, the imagery. So now you're seeing the imagery. It's all about the Antifa riots.
yeah, that should all be called out. That's trash. It's the worst. Antifa represents the worst of America.
Absolutely.
Just destroying your own
Useful
community.
idiot goon squad for the globalists. And
Well,
they have no idea.
Let's bounce over to this one final topic, Blake. YouTube.
Yeah.
Speaking of goon squad, the goons at YouTube. Do you think, agree or disagree, they should pull reviews of Sound of Freedom for air quote violating guidelines? What does that even mean? Agree or disagree, they should pull the reviews for Sound of Freedom.
Disagree. Yeah, it makes no sense. As what they're saying, I did not realize saving children and bringing awareness to the sex trafficking of kids was against community guidelines. So that's, I guess, was that former Navy SEAL and CIA contractor Sean Ryan posting screenshots of the back end of his YouTube account, showing that a 2.5-minute video preview of an upcoming interview with film star Jim Caviezel has been removed. YouTube declared the content is ineligible for monetization and violating community guidelines.
YouTube has done that to me for 7 years now. I am so over these totalitarian. What are they? They're just hubs. What even is YouTube? It's just a big
building thugs. That's all Google and deep state. It's
just a big library of information where stuff is uploaded.
Well, it's supposed to be YouTube. It's supposed to be about me and you and other people, and now it's been hijacked by corporations, and it's back to the corporate legacy media.
Well, follow us on Rumble because we're over there, the New American Media. Blake, where do they follow you?
TV's Blake Walley on Twitter, and the Next Level News is always the archive.
Good. Do we have anything more on Sound of Freedom and YouTube pulling reviews?
Well, they went after Luke Rudowski. They gave him a strike and removed his video, demonetized him.
They gave him a strike and demonetized him?
They prevented him from uploading. Now we can't do it for a week. I don't know if they brought it back. But he got punished for it. But yeah, well, why is it bad to review a movie? So they just don't want anybody seeing that. And it's
I guess I gotta go. I've been
resisting.
I've been resisting going to see it. It's awful subject matter. I don't really want to just sit and I don't know. It doesn't sound appealing to go see, but it's like if they're gonna go this if they're gonna go this hard to try to keep people from watching it, I guess I'm gonna have to go watch it twice.
Perhaps. But Brian and everybody, it's been a pleasure, but I do have to run, unfortunately. Cut this one a little bit early. Brian, you can continue. Your audio video sync is such a disaster.
Not even. It's a train wreck today. Yeah.
We might have to pick this up again next week when we get rid of the solar flares and the bad weather and get Brian's equipment back running.
Yeah, I don't know. All I did was upgrade my equipment and try to level up, and look what happens. So anyway, I digress. Yes, Blake, to be continued. Right. You have a good one,
thanks, everybody. We'll do it again next week. Appreciate you. Love you guys. See you next time. Thank you.
All right. Peace out. To anybody else in the chat rooms before I go, were there any topics that we were supposed to get to today that we haven't had a chance to get to? Let me review some of the comments. I'm only seeing some comments. Kenneth saying this administration is like a bad ABC reality show. Yes. Kenneth's also saying we do win. Amen. Yeah, we will win. It's just it's easy to get black pilled. It's easy. You take the red pill and realize the truth. Take the blue pill and go back to sleep. Take the black pill because it's all trash and we're all doomed. Whew, that might be how I kind of want to feel, or like that I really feel, but I'm gonna talk myself out of it. Fake it till you make it. I don't know. Just fight for what's right while you have a chance. Jocelyn saying, will Trump have to sue to get on the ballot? After the Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona Attorney General needs to refuse to put him on the ballot, citing the 14th. Oh, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to not put him on. This is so crazy. God, we need massive arrests for the people that are doing this. I don't want to hear trust the plan. I don't want to hear, oh, it's got to be the military. I don't, but like whatever it is needs to happen. If there is any semblance of a functional republic, these people, these attorney generals that are going to try to refuse putting President Trump on the ballot, citing the 14th, they need to be arrested. It's election interference. It's treason. There's a penalty for treason. Who is in charge of executing the people and executing the procedures of arresting and trying people for treason? I mean, isn't that military? Where is that court? We haven't really seen a lot of high profile treason cases. But yeah, we're in it. It's not like, oh, I hope things don't get worse. I hope things don't get bad. They are bad. They're the worst they've ever been. We're on the verge. We're teetering at the edge here. Jocelyn continues, no court of law has convicted Trump of engaging in insurrection. So 14A, the 14th Amendment, Section 3 is irrelevant. Even if he was tried, a truly impartial court would acquit. Yeah, they would. Jocelyn says, sadly, she has little confidence that a sufficiently impartial court exists. How about the Polkacrats? Who are the Polkacrats? Is that like the Democrats, but they listen to polka? Kenneth B with another word play here. RFK in the USA. RFK rocking in the USA. All right, so what's this one? Dreamer says, using their tactics confuses the algorithms, it seems. Hence crazy responses from the wacko side. Jocelyn adding, but the community guidelines do not cause drag queens to read porn to kids. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how we woke up and this is like the standard thing that has to be defended. You know, you don't talk to kids about sexual stuff like that. Like you don't go, you leave the kid. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. Jocelyn says the same people complaining about Sound of Freedom are the same ones pushing transitioning children and drag queens dressed like prostitutes to read to babies. Yeah, it was Justin Trudeau was talking. No, where was this? There's another video. Was it Canada? And a guy barged in where they had people trying to hide a room of really secretive. And he said, you're dressing like prostitutes and talking to children. Like that reframing was very helpful, because when you frame it that way, it's like you shouldn't be wearing sexually suggestive clothing around children anyway. Like this is not okay. But they've tried to turn this into like the civil rights issue of our day. It's no, I think protecting the innocent it is turning out to be the civil rights issue of the day. Who would have thought? Go figure, right? All right. Well, anyway, yes, my stream is really weird. You can't quite see me synced up, and it's been a tough one, but we trudged through. We got through this, and we appreciate you for doing so. But this is the homework section. I'm going to ask you to follow us in these places. Please do. Twitter's like one of the last few places we're allowed to talk, so please support us there. Blake is at TV's Blake Walley, Walley. The New American Media is at American_media_. Follow us real quick. Comment, tag us, and say, hey, we've been watching your show on YouTube. We've been watching your show on Facebook. We've been watching your show on Rumble, on Spotify. And we just say hello to us on Twitter. Tag us. I want to know, how are you who are watching? Connect with us on these other platforms, please. Spotify. We have our podcast there. So go to Spotify, search The Agree to Disagree Show. Please subscribe on Rumble. Rumble's like YouTube minus the restrictions. On Rumble, we're The New American Media. Truth Social, we're The New American Media. We're on Instagram temporarily. Can't share anything anymore. No reason, no explanation, no opportunity to correct anything, no guidance, just silenced. Ooh, that's good. No guidance, just silence. How do I type that? That's a lyric. No guidance, just silence. I'm writing it right now. No guidance, just silence. IG banning us. Okay. No guidance, just silence. So follow us. We're the New American Media on Instagram. Facebook, search in parentheses TNAM for the New American Media, TNAM apostrophe S. So in parentheses, TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Follow us there. So there's all these places. We're also on Parler, Telegram, TNAM and TNAM chat. Follow us on Telegram. Telegram's where we put the stuff that should have gone on Facebook, but Meta is a completely lost cause at this point. But yeah, Telegram is where you'll get some of the best stories. We like finding stories before they become verified or debunked. Like this is like the New American Media is a place where you discover what people are talking about and you kind of break it down and figure out, is this likely to be true? Is it completely unknown? Is it likely to be untrue? I don't know. Nobody knows. Anybody who claims to have full, like a full understanding of all that is completely true and incorrect in this world. Come on, nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. We're all just guessing here. But with the New American Media, we workshop this stuff. We talk it out together. That's the point of these programs. So Dreamer is saying, I couldn't find you on Fecal Book or Telegram. All right, so here, everybody on Telegram. Okay, we are TNAM. TNAM. Just those 4 letters. So that's like the main page for the New American Media on Telegram. It looks like it has a computer chip for the screen image, for the profile picture. On Telegram, there's also TNAM chat. And then it's hashtag the New American Media. Once again, it's the same image, but then it says TNAM chat over top of the computer chip there. So TNAM and TNAM chat. That's where you find us on Telegram. Then I told you on Facebook, it's a private group. So you got to do parentheses. TNAM apostrophe S space The Agree to Disagree Show parentheses. If you don't search exactly, they refuse to show it to you. They have memory hold us. They have shadow banned us and deranked us. Same with YouTube. But YouTube has 12 years of content. So youtube.com/the New American Media. It's a good one to do. Good one to follow us on. Also, the newamericanmedia.com. We do have some new excuse me, some new news. We have some graphic design updates coming soon. We're in the process of doing something cool that I can't wait to show you. It's not done yet, but we are planning it. So you will be able to see it soon. All right. But in the absence of any additional stories that we have missed, I want to say thank you to Dreamer Ultra and Doreen Burns and Jocelyn and Blake and Kenneth. And I don't know if I missed anybody in here. Apologies if I did. But anyone who listens, you guys are smart. You guys are the best of America. If you're following us, you guys are cool. You're cool in my book. So I just want to say thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. All right. Take care. Peace.